All roads lead to death in Gaza. Bustling Gaza turns ghost town. No power, no water, no fuel. Gazans become refugees in their own home. Israel pounds Gaza. Top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal. This evening, over the next 30 minutes, we're putting the focus on the situation playing out in Gaza. 1,000 people have died. Several Gazans living in the city, their port city, are now struggling, have nowhere to run. They're left stranded in their own homes, many of them homeless, lying out on the streets with nowhere to go. And there's a serious concern that the death toll is only going to be mounting in the next few days as Israel continues to choke Gaza, making it clear that they're not going to allow Hamas to get away with their weekend strike on Israeli cities and towns. Here's a look at breaking news that's coming in right now on the plight of Gaza. Now, there's a serious concern that there will be no power in Gaza. There was talk about it, but now it's confirmed that Gaza is completely in darkness. Now, the only power plant in the Gaza Strip has stopped working at 2 p.m. due to lack of fuel. So that's just, in fact, about an hour or two ago. There is now officially no electricity in Gaza. There's no water supply going in, no fuel, which is why the power plant has run out, and no food. All supplies cut off right now to Gaza City. It means that there's a sense of an apocalypse coming for Gazans. They have nowhere to go because almost all their borders are shut off at this point. And with almost every building being destroyed in airstrikes overnight, there are deaths that are being reported and families left with nowhere to go. All right, let's in fact take this across right now to Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh and Gaurav Sawant have been getting us all the latest updates of what's happening in parts of Israel. They're also focusing very closely on the situation currently in Gaza. Ashutosh, no power now, completely cut off Gaza City as Israel promised. They said that they're going to ensure they maintain a chokehold on the city. Now, the images that are coming in are worrying because the city looks completely decimated, completely demolished. And we understand that the strikes are continuing on both sides, not just in Gaza, but also in Israel, as Hamas continues to hit back.
We are hiding on the staircase because this is the standard protocol. Either go to the safe house or take shelters in the stairs area because these are constructed. Because we just heard siren around 2.5 minutes ago, and within 30 seconds we had to escape to the safe house or the staircases. There are massive, loud explosions are being heard. Several rockets. I mean, this is the third attack since morning, and matter of concern is that Israel side, which is known for its defense and alarming situation, the siren did not play, and immediately we went to the safe house area and the staircases. So loud explosions are being heard. So that's the situation. Despite all the precision strike by Israel to Gaza Strip against the Hamas, the situation there is no better because there is a continued rocket attack coming. And a matter of concern is that while electricity and supplies are being cut off in Gaza Strip, that is being also declared a zone where no civilian movements is allowed. The situation in the southern part, especially in Ascalon, is now more threat, which is also growing because they are targeting the civilian areas, and probably they are also assessing where the maximum population is, and that's exactly why they are targeting all the places. So people are advised to go to only the safer area or the safe houses, and when the siren went off, that's a matter of concern. Electronic surveillance team has been called in, which is keeping a close tab from helicopters and drones, because if there is a that's only alarm and the siren which works for the people as a defense. They immediately go to the safer area. You only get 30 seconds. The maximum time is 30 seconds. But even the Iron Dome capacity is being tested by Hamas. They fire number of rockets way more than the capacity of Iron Dome, and we have seen several shells falling all here and there. Every ball has been in this city has been hit by, and now we are extremely very good. Do you see the? Let me get you the close images of where the rocket has fell. You see that? This area. This is where the smoke is coming from. And this looks like the rocket which fell just a couple of minutes ago, exactly this place. And this is what you see the other side is Gaza. And rest all you see this side, the line is the Ashkelon territory, Israeli territory. So the distance you see is maximum 5 to 6 kilometer radius. There's a constant tankers have been mobilized by the Israeli forces now advancing, and that's exactly why the restrictive measures have been announced. Fighter jets. Now you hear the noise of the fighter jets that are also been scrambling. Drones are hovering over us, and this time finally, the alarm system worked, and finally we were able to hide in taking a shelter right in the building where I am at the moment. There's a huge size of nearly 2.5 feet of the rocket is kept there. Probably was exploded at a very low intensity, but all these area, if you see, the only wearing look nearly the coastal line. Only few vehicles which are literally, as is going to be sunset now, they all are headed home straight. Most of the people have been advised strictly by the authorities to remain indoors, as Ashkelon is the situation going to be more alarming and more escalating as Israel, advancing troops, aggressively attacking Hamas territories in Gaza. Similar attack is also being planned by Hamas, and perhaps using the intelligence as far as accuracy is concerned, dropping the bombs near the residential areas. And any sound that you hear that literally raises the heartbeat. The situation is really alarming in this southern Israel where I am reporting at the moment from. Hakshita.
I understand that the situation right now is extremely sensitive, and Ashutosh, they're getting you that live report. Ashutosh, I'm going to let you go so that you can hide safely right now. We can hear the sirens blaring right now in your background. Ashutosh Mishra is reporting from Ashkelon, where you're seeing continual strikes at this point. If you thought that because Israel is hitting at Hamas targets, at Hamas territories in Gaza, it stopped the strikes in Israel, you're wrong. There are still multiple attacks being reported in Israeli soil. The death toll in Israel has gone up to 1,200 and counting right now, which is why Israel has vowed that they're going to put an end to Hamas once and for all. And many of the comments that you'll be seeing right now from Israeli authorities, they're equating Hamas's acts to what ISIS does, including the one of reports suggesting that babies were beheaded in several parts, in some of the worst affected parts of Israel. What's the situation on the ground in Israel? Even as that fight back, the attack on Hamas continues in Gaza, on their settlements and hideouts in Gaza, Gaurav Sawant gets you also a sense of the situation close to the Gaza border, where you've got the military out in full form, full muscle there, ensuring that there's no question of any more of a breach or any of these Hamas groups continuing to infiltrate.
We are currently at the southernmost tip of southern Israel. We are ahead of Sridot, which is a city of a population of 30,000 people. And when you come out of that city and head towards the Taboos, including Kafar Azar, this is what you see. Bullets all over this place. Look at this. Not one, not two, not three, but in hundreds. These are bullets here in absolute hundreds that these terrorists had, and they sprayed people indiscriminately with this ammunition. Just look at people who were there in their cars. They were burnt alive. According to Israeli officials that we've spoken to, according to investigators, the terrorists came in Israeli police uniforms. They stopped people. When they stopped on the side, petrol was sprayed on their cars and the cars were set on fire with people inside. That's one part of the story. This entire place is completely burnt. There are charred remains here even now. This is how barbaric the Hamas terrorists were. Kafar Azar, where children were massacred, barely a couple of meters down the road. Sridot, where Hamas terrorists went and indiscriminately fired at people a kilometer down the road here. In fact, some pockets here still not cleared of the Hamas control. The Israeli army and special forces still clearing house to house. That's the situation in Israel as the country takes a steely resolve to completely decimate the Hamas threat. In fact, right now, the sound that you hear, these are bombs that are going off at the Gaza Strip. The dark plumes of smoke that you see behind me, these are Israeli precision-guided munition completely decimating the stronghold of the Hamas at the Gaza Strip. The situation here remains extremely tense. Gaurav Sawant in southern Israel near Sridot for India Today.
All signs indicate that what we're going to see next is a ground assault of Gaza. You're going to see Israeli soldiers marching through the streets of Gaza cities, targeting Hamas hideouts. But the concern also is about how your ordinary Gazans are also paying the price of this war. They've seen it very often, and you'll hear that also in our next report, when they speak about how they've seen this conflict play out, how it's affected their life for the last many, many years. But they also say this: it's never been as bad as it is right now. The images of Gaza are haunting. And while, yes, Israel is going all out to take on these Hamas terrorists to ensure that all of their hideouts are decimated, what about the ordinary Gazans and their families who didn't have enough time to scramble out of their homes and scramble out of the city, and so now are left in the lurch, essentially living on the streets with nowhere to go?
This is what is left of the port city of Gaza. Over 900 dead, 4,500 wounded, and nearly 180,000 people left homeless. The ordinary Gazan is paying the price for Hamas's brutalities in Israel. With unprecedented airstrikes, the once bustling city now resembles a ghost town. Many Gazans fled from their homes, leaving everything they owned to get to safer points, knowing that the Hamas's atrocities would mean a hit back by Israel. People are now taking shelter in hospitals with just a bag of their belongings. Refugees in their own land.
We were at our homes. Then we got information saying we have to leave our house immediately, to leave our neighborhood because it is under attack. We took ourselves, children and grandchildren and daughter-in-laws, and we ran away. I can say that we became refugees. We don't have safety or security. What's this life? This is not life.
There's death everywhere, amid the rubble, on the streets, and even in homes. After a night of airstrikes, it's become routine now for people to begin the painful hunt for their loved ones. And sometimes that means digging through the debris of now destroyed buildings. The body of a 4-year-old girl was pulled out from the debris, which was supposed to be a safe hideout. Her family had fled from their homes to the heart of the city in search of safety, only to find death.
They were taking refuge next to the stairs where it could have been a safe place. They targeted them and killed them.
There are many such families who fled to the city of Khan Yunis, assuming it's safer, only to find that they've reached the heart of the conflict.
If we stayed in our houses, we die. If we go on streets, we die. Oh, my beloved brother, he fled from one place to another. May his soul rest in peace. I have no people left except 2. Please God, don't take anyone else. This is enough. I can't handle more. I hope I die before them all.
Gaza is running out of basic supplies as Israel has cut off electricity, food and water supply. Volunteers on ground are now attempting to help Gazans cope. But as airstrikes continue, it's an arduous task to distribute supplies.
We are on the ground doing everything we can to make sure the people in need, the ones who fled their homes and residing in shelters, are getting the food and help they need to be able to survive. Today, we set out to reach 180,000 together with UNRWA that are residing in shelters with ready-to-eat food, including fresh bread from bakeries that are still able to operate in Gaza.
Gaza has been a hotbed of Israeli strikes before, but never in this scale. There's death and destruction everywhere, and with Israel vowing to end Hamas, the ordinary Gazans are stuck in the crossfire with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Bureau Report, India Today.
So Israel is leaving no stone unturned right now to ensure that this truly is the end of Hamas. And of course, Hamas's maximum hideouts, the terrorists, are all based currently in Gaza City. And that's why the city right now resembles a ghost town, completely decimated. Most buildings have been targeted in airstrikes. But it's not just from the air that Israel has been targeting Gaza. Let's explain that for you, about how we're seeing a multi-pronged effort by Israel to finish Hamas and thereby take control of Gaza. So from one front, you have, of course, from the air, you've got fighter jets zooming in every few hours with continuous airstrikes being reported, and that perhaps is causing the maximum damage. And then you also have, in fact, from several directions coming in. You've got tanks moving in, all of them based very close to the Gaza Strip right now. That's from the east and the north. And then from the port, considering Gaza is a port city, from the other side too, Israel is pushing forward its naval ships, its missiles from that side too, firing. So across Gaza right now, they're surrounded essentially. And Israel is, like I said, leaving no stone unturned to ensure that this time around there's no question of Hamas surviving this particular attack from Israel. Striking from all sides, we're also hearing that very soon you're going to be seeing an assault from ground as Israeli soldiers will make their way into this particular part, into Gaza City. Steps for that already taking place. Now, across Gaza division, so this is close to the Strip, you've got the entire area being declared as a closed military area. So which of these parts of Israel have also been declared as a closed military area? There are several parts here. Now, you can see this is the Gaza Strip that we've highlighted. Around it in yellow, this area has also been, in fact, deemed as a highly sensitive zone. You've got maximum Israeli military presence here. And what that means is perhaps from here, they're going to be moving into Gaza Strip. There are several areas here that, in fact, have been highlighted, which, in fact, we will show you also. And all of these districts, all of these towns in Israel is seeing maximum military movement right now. Israel's attack in Gaza is only going to escalate in the days to come. There's no electricity that's been confirmed now in Gaza. They've cut off all supplies there, and residents are struggling to cope. Unfortunately, this is the price of war, where the casualty count will continue to go up. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. On the other side, Gaurav Samant joins you live from Israel, getting you all the latest updates.